Estonia is a small country, 45,215 square kilometers in area, with a great number of islands. The three largest islands in its coastal waters are Saaremaa, 2,671 square kilometers, Hiiumaa, 989 square kilometers, and Muhumaa, 198 square kilometers. All the other islands have an area of less than 100 square kilometers, and these can be considered as small islands and islets. The largest amongst the small islands is Vormsi Island in western Estonia. Let's now explore the North Estonian small islands more closely, starting with the island of Muhni in the east. This island, about 2.5 kilometers long, but only a few hundred meters wide, rises steeply from the waters of the Gulf of Finland and is separated from the Pärispää Cape on the mainland by a 5-kilometer wide strait. Muhni is characterized by diverse landscapes. Particularly remarkable is the steeply rising western coast, densely covered with boulders of various sizes. Large fields of drifting sand can be observed on the highest parts of Muhni, although these are already partly overgrown by pine groves. A conspicuous 27 meters high red brick lighthouse is located on the northwestern point of Muhni. This island is today part of the Lahemaa National Park and a well-known destination for many nature tourists. The largest group of islands in the North Estonian coastal sea is in the Kolga Bay area. The larger islands here, which we will be exploring, are Peresaar, Koipsi, and Rammu. Peresaar is the easternmost island in the Kolga Bay. Actually, Peresaar is also the highest, up to 13 meters above sea level, as well as the oldest one. It emerged from the sea about 4,500 years ago. At present, this sandy island is covered by dense heath pine forest. What makes it attractive for holiday visitors are long stretches of sandy beaches on the western coast. Beside sandy beaches, a group of large erratic boulders close to the island's northwestern coast is worth visiting. It is most easily reached by boats from Salmistu village on the mainland, but sea kayaking trips are also arranged by experienced instructors. The island of Koipsi is easily recognized by the long sandy spit, Tallisaar, extending far south to the sea. The eastern side of the spit has only a few underwater boulders and is thus the best landing site for boats. The sandy beaches also dominate on the northern coast, but here numerous large erratic boulders stick out of the water. The vegetation on the island's northern part is dominated by juniper shrubbery, but the heath landscape still prevails in the central and southern parts. Particularly remarkable landscape elements are wide crowberry heaths, although this habitat is currently shrinking as pine and spruce forests take over. Rammu is the largest island in the Kolga Bay. The island's outline is characterized by long, outstretched capes to the northwest and southeast, making its coastline over 11 kilometers long. The best landing site is located on the southern, scenically beautiful, sandy, gravelly shore. Plant cover on Rammu is dominated by heath and heath meadows, but these areas are rapidly decreasing owing to plantation of pines to fix drifting sands on the island in the 1980s. The heath areas look most colorful in the early autumn, when they are covered by cowberry and crowberry patches. Dwarf cornel with bright red berries is another plant rare in Estonia and known only from the Kolga Bay Islands. It can be encountered in the north of the island, in the transitional zone between juniper shrubs and coastal meadows. The largest erratic boulder on Rammu can be spotted in the middle of the forested pine stands. Its flat top offers a good lookout and a resting place. This highly elongated 2.3 kilometers long island is located about 6 kilometers northwest of Rammu. Most of the island's shoreline is densely covered by boulders and pebbles of various sizes. The only sandy beach stretch is close to the southern tip, which can also be regarded as the safest landing place for boats. The characteristic landforms in the island are pebbly, gravelly beach ridges covered partly by juniper bushes. Vegetation is rather stunted on the shores of Oxy, particularly in its northernmost tip, where an impressive, large, vegetation-free pebbled field occurs. The few coastal meadows are used as a pasture area for grazing sheep. A remarkable cultural heritage site to be visited on Oxy is the stone maze that was apparently built back in 1849. About 10 kilometers northwest of Oxy emerges the tiny island of Keri. This island was mentioned for the first time as long ago as 1623 and has throughout the centuries been considered as an important navigation mark for sailors. Nowadays, it can be easily recognized by a distinctively shaped lighthouse, which is one of the oldest in the Gulf of Finland. The island of Prongli is located 9 kilometers northeast of Viimsi Cape. This island has been permanently inhabited for several centuries, and today about 130 people live on this 6.4 square kilometer island. As can be seen from this aerial view, the low western part of Prongli has a very rugged coastline. The most scenic sandy beaches, with shallow coastal dune ridges attracting holiday visitors, can be seen in the southeast corner of the island. The large erratic boulder, Punakivi, is also hidden in the dry pine forests nearby. The well-preserved wooden church of St. Lawrence is a major cultural heritage site on Prongli. This church was consecrated in 1848. One unusual attraction that nature tourists can enjoy on Prongli is barbecuing their sausages or boiling their tea water on natural gas fires at former geological drilling sites. This natural gas is derived from a sequence of organic-rich quaternary deposits that were penetrated by geological exploration holes drilled in the 1970s. The most easily accessible and thus most frequently visited islands of northern Estonia are two islands in the mouth of the Bay of Tallinn, Aegna and Naissaar. Both islands are characterized by a dense forest cover where visitors can encounter major forest types present in Estonia, from dry heath pinewoods to swampy peaty forests. As a rule, various pinewoods dominate, but shady spruce forests are common as well. The 2.9 square kilometer Aegna Island is a northernward extension of the Cape of Viimsi on the mainland. It has a very distinctive outline made by the curved, panhandle-shaped Cape of Lemikku extending from the eastern coast far out into the Gulf of Finland. A prominent pile of erratic boulders can be found in the pine woods of the Cape of Lemmiku. 23 large boulders and about 10 smaller ones have been counted in this boulder field. Close to the island's northern tip, east of the small cape of Erikkuneem, a historical 10-circled stone maze was recently excavated and cleaned up by removing grass and topsoil. It has been estimated that this labyrinth was probably constructed as early as the 17th century. Naissaar, with an area of 18.6 square kilometers, is the largest and oldest island in the North Estonian coastal sea. Its high central part, which rises up to 27 meters above sea level, already began to emerge from the sea about 7,500 years ago. Unlike the other islands in the northern Estonian coastal sea, which attract nature tourists by their diverse natural sceneries, Naissaar offers visitors a range of historical military sites. The most popular attraction that draws people to the island is a train ride on a narrow-gauge military railway between the harbor and Manniku village. Another major attraction of military interest is to visit the former sea mine depot in the center of the island, where numerous mine casings are still littered around. So far, we have explored islands which various quaternary sediments are exposed on the surface. However, on the Vaike and Suur-Pakri islands, offshore from the mainland in northwest Estonia, lower Paleozoic sedimentary rocks are exposed. The geological and natural history values of both Pakri Islands are closely related to the striking coastal cliffs that are subjected to intense sea abrasion. Particularly impressive is the cliff on Vaike Pakri, where the about 7 kilometers long escarpment reaches a maximum height of 14 meters at the island's northernmost tip. Here, visitors can see massive limestone slabs that have fallen down from the cliff edge and now lean against its base. The cliffs here show a sequence of lower to middle Ordovician hard limestones, formed within a 10 to 20 million year time span from more than 450 million years ago. The abrasion of the limestone cliffs by sea waves results in a huge amount of debris that accumulates in large shingle ridges, as seen along the southeastern coast of Vaike Pakri. A wide path, made by limestone slabs, makes a striking contrast to the shingle ridges that it crosses as it leads people from the coast to the remaining tower of the Vaike Pakri church and the surrounding graveyard. Osmusaar, also known as Odensholm, first emerged from the sea some 3,000 years ago and at its highest point is now some 6 meters above sea level. The island is bordered to the east and west by an up to 200 meters wide shallow underwater limestone plateau that is terminated by a steeply plunging slope. Because Osmusaar is located in an area with the most intense post-glacial land uplift, the island is still noticeably emerging from the sea, while at the same time the cliff walls along the northwestern and northern coasts are being actively abraded by sea waves. The abraded limestone shingle is carried by currents along the coast southwards, where it gets piled up on huge shingle ridges. These shingle ridges cover all the island, and along the western coast, these may rise more than 3 meters in height. The main geological highlight on Osmusaar is the approximately 5 kilometers long and up to 6 meters high coastal escarpment. This is the westernmost outcrop of the North Estonian Clint, because further southwestward, the Clint escarpment continues under the waters of the Baltic Sea until emerging again on the island of Öland in the coastal waters of Sweden. What makes the island geologically unique is the presence of dark veins and larger bodies of strongly cemented, breccia-like sandstones that have been injected into normal marine limestones. This rock unit, known as the Middle Ordovician Osmosaar megabreccia, formed about 455 million years ago. The most plausible explanation for the formation of this megabreccia is a meteorite impact that created the nearby, several kilometers wide, Neugrund crater. As you were able to see in this short video, the North Estonian small islands offer great scenery and lots to be explored by nature tourists.